our nerd jams.
How's it going? Alright, so this is the, what do they call it? The Flarrow.
No. Legend of Super Flarrow.
Legend of Super Flarrow.
Come on now.
Legends of Super Flarrow. Flarrow.
Legends of Super Flarrow.
Alright, so yeah, this is, I guess, this is a new thing that we're going to be doing, is we're going to be doing the CW shows, which is awesome because that's what we started talking about. This is how this all got started, was we were talking about Arrow. Yeah, we were talking about Arrow works, so yeah, we're going back to our roots.
Oh wait, yeah, because I brought up, I found the AfterBuzz after shows, and then you told me about Collider, and then therefore, and if you notice, we're missing one of our members, but we went from 4 to 3. We did lose Mark. He decided he didn't have the time, and now we're down Adam, and the only reason Adam's not with us is he doesn't watch the CW shows as religiously as we do, I guess you should say. He's very behind, and Jadon and I discuss our likes and our dislikes of the show so often that we decided to feed our narcissism and put it on camera. Or at least feed my narcissism, it's fine.
So we'll try to keep this civil-ish.
Kind of, sort of. Let me start the timer. But it's all love. We argue, we yell at each other, it's fine.
Yeah.
We love each other.
Yeah, this is, that's what, like, a lot of people think, that if you complain about a show, that it's because you hate it, and maybe that's true. But it's also because, I know, for at least for me, for the most part, it's because I want it to be better, and I know it has more potential than what they're doing with it. And then, so that'll frustrate me a lot. But I'm trying to give it an honest effort.
Yes. Just a little bit more background. I'm a diehard. I'm all in for Supergirl. He's not quite so much.
I'm in there for Mon-El.
He likes Flash. I don't watch it. I watched the first season. It's not for me. I like the crossover aspect because I get little snippets of them, but it's just not my show. We both watch Arrow and we both watch Legends, so we decided that we will just do a 1 show a week with all 4, and instead of doing a back show with all the seasons, we are just jumping right into the epic crossover that, in my opinion, did not disappoint.
No, I thought it was like one of the... It's definitely the best one so far. I was trying to decide between the Flash episodes, whether I liked the Flash versus Arrow episode or the Alien versus Superheroes episode more. But for me, it was tied. Yeah.
I'd say, and we were already talking about this, that Arrow and Legends were my 2 favorites. Supergirl wasn't...
It wasn't a crossover. Don't call it a crossover.
It wasn't. And I see 2 reasons I say that is, or I can understand that, is a lot of them say that they didn't want to alienate the fans coming over from the CBS network that don't know this universe yet, so they didn't want to bring too much of it in there. But at the same time, it was a mid-season finale, so there was so much plot that they had to go through. So it wasn't good timing for Supergirl to kick it off. I think, if anything, if Supergirl kicked it off, Legends kicked it off the week before when Sarah Lance comes in. Hey guys, we got to go back to 2016.
They spent just as much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to mention they just showed what they showed on Supergirl, at the end of Supergirl in the crossover. So. And
that kind of bugged me. It's like all this time you're eating up showing that whole, it's only 30 seconds or a minute, whatever. Just do a quick previously on Supergirl and the Flash.
Yeah, that was my fear about doing this whole crossover thing, was that some of them wouldn't actually be crossovers, and it'd just be, kind of a ploy just to get people to watch another show, which is pretty much what they did.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just gonna take I guess about 10 minutes for each section for each show, and just tell what we liked and what we didn't like.
And I think we're gonna go in order each week. So we'll do this either Thursday nights or Fridays, hopefully. It's gonna be pretty raw. As you can see, we're just gonna be here talking. We're not very fancy. Not gonna be doing a bunch of funny edits and stuff like that. But yeah, we're gonna start off. I'll kick off with Supergirl. We'll run Flash, and then we'll both do Arrow and Legends sort of thing, and just see how it goes from there. I'm Shannon, by the way. This is Jadon. We're really bad at that.
Yeah, but yeah. That's because it's not like we have our names at the bottom or something.
Right. Okay, so Supergirl episode, Medusa, season 2, episode 8.
I didn't watch it.
You did not watch it. I just caught him up a minute ago. he knows a little bit about it. Thanksgiving episode. Huge Buffy fan, and they always did a Halloween episode, and I hope that Supergirls is going to continually be the Thanksgiving episode, and I really hope that 3 things are going to continue to happen. Mama Danvers comes to visit, Kara cooks the turkey with her heat vision, and Drunk Alex. Because Drunk Alex is amazing.
You gotta wonder if that tastes weird.
I don't know.
Using the heat vision.
Because I don't feel like it would cook it evenly.
Yeah. Well,
but it is cute.
Yeah. Whatever.
Here's your Mon-El moment that I'm going to spoil for you.
I heard about that.
So,
I heard about that.
Mon-El comes in and Jolly Thanksgiving, and it's Happy Thanksgiving, holding a bag, and what is this? Oh, you said you needed some stuffing, so I cut my mattress open and I brought you some.
Which is awesome, because hopefully that was Jimmy's mattress.
Oh yeah, James.
James, yeah, whatever.
Okay, jumping right into I'm pretty sure it's the only James scene that we have in this episode. And his Guardian storyline, which I'm not 100% on board with yet. I feel like they're just trying to force some stuff on us, kind of like James taking over Catco. Oh, I miss Cat Rant. But there's a really funny scene between Alex, Wynn, and James on the couch trying to decide who is going to come out in this episode. Also another theme that they could keep with Supergirl Thanksgiving is the coming out sort of thing. And but Alex is telling them, no, you cannot come out, you cannot tell them, and Wynn's all about the suit. He's like, yeah, so I'll just start out with the suit and how awesome it is. And James cuts him off, no. And Alex is already drunk at this point, and she's like, no, you guys are not going to mess it up with your hijinks and your suit. It's pretty funny.
I don't know. It's still, you're losing a child. So I don't know why people were mad about that.
Speaking of children, did Flash creating this other timeline happen to get rid of Oliver's son? Because that would be awesome.
No, someone got a picture of him in, I think, this last Arrow episode where it looked like he was sitting on the couch in the background.
It wouldn't surprise me. I miss that stuff all the time.
Yeah, it was, those Tumblr freaks are just...
Cool. Tumblr is awesome, but then you get to some of those, it's scary.
Yeah, I'm actually on Tumblr now, but...
Oh, you're going to put your link in?
I've been addicted, I'll admit it.
I love Tumblr, and I wish I had it when I was fangirling, when I was actually a child, and it made more sense than my old ass up here fangirling as hard as I do. But sticking with The Flash, like, it just didn't feel like we really needed that episode, to be honest with you. It was kind of an introductory episode, but the introductions were over like that. Even if you don't watch the other ones, if you just watched it for Supergirl, I can guarantee you were disappointed because there was many things that I was like, really? That's what we're doing? Pretty sure the only Supergirl writing that was added in there was when Sarah Lance was like, yeah, it's kind of hot. That was the Supergirl's writing, be like, make a lesbian joke.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I mean, there's a lot of nice moments though. I mean, but so I wanted to talk about, like, I did like that that Ray was mad about the whole timeline thing, because it seems like he would be he has the most valid reason for being mad, because he's never asked to go back to save his fiance or anything.
Well, he and Sarah.
Yeah, him and Sarah. People were also complaining about Sarah being mad. It's like, yeah, she wants to kill Dark every chance she gets, but she's not.
She hasn't, not lately.
So you gotta give her points for that. One other thing I thought was BS was people piling on Cisco for being mad, because Barry is the reason why his brother is dead. And people were like, it's been like episodes since he found out. It's like, no, that happened last episode.
Still doesn't matter. He's the reason your brother is dead.
Yeah. So like, first you find out that you want your friend, you're mad at him because you want your friend to go back and save your brother, and you won't do it. Okay. So he finally gets over that, and then finally he finds out that the reason why his brother is dead is that same friend who won't go back and save him caused it in the first place. So I thought it was a completely valid reason.
You're not 2 minutes.
But I did like hearing about Snart and how
we forgot. We haven't told you.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but it was also a nice little moment.
Yeah. Which we have a theory about Snart.
Hopefully he's not dead.
Hopefully he's just stuck between time or something. My brain hurts already. But maybe we'll see him again. What else about this episode? The mind control thing was pretty fun to watch them try to take on the whole crew. Oh, Thea, Speedy.
Get out of here.
I love Speedy, and I wish she would come back to the team, but as soon as she's like, aliens, cool, let's suit up. It's like, no. There have been, I don't remember what they are right now, but there have been times in this season of Arrow where I'm like, why aren't you suiting up? And then you're just like, aliens? Cool.
Yeah, like Prometheus.
I was so
Prometheus was walking through people's houses, and he was killing, like, he killed that one lady in her house, and she still won't suit up. But
you suit up for aliens. I mean, I don't blame you. It's cool.
Yeah, but...
That was just so dumb. It's kind of like the Nate and Amaya thing. Oh, they were just taking on the Wave Rider.
Yeah.
No big deal.
And that's one of the things that, like, I didn't like about the episode, if we're going into negatives, was that they had a lot of these little things where it's just, like, really made up motivations. Like, there wasn't anything to why, like, well, you know, why they would leave Barry behind, or...
Right, you stay here. You guys, all together, you stay here.
Yeah, it's like, really, if you don't... It's fine if you don't want him to lead you. I can understand that. Because the videotape says, don't trust Barry.
Don't trust Barry.
But just to leave him behind... Oh! That was one of my negatives.
What? Go.
It's the whole CW. It's a very obtuse channel network, and it's like the whole evil white old man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the person's gonna die.
We get it.
And then there's gonna be a female president, and everything's gonna be hunky dory.
It's the year of the female, not. Okay, so that's your negative. Here's when you reminded me of the leader thing. When they're like, Barry, you're the leader. And Oliver's just telling him, but Sarah calls him out. We just supposed to pretend.
That was a great moment.
I love Mick's lines. Supergirl, huh? Not gonna call you that.
I didn't like that.
I thought it was funny.
I liked the joke.
He's flirting.
I liked it, but like I didn't like the way that they did it, where they just stopped and were like, okay, we're on a mission to save the president, but we're gonna stop outside and go have this little conversation.
He's flirting the way Mick flirts.
Yeah, I thought it would work better if they were fighting the aliens and it's like someone says Supergirl and he's like, I'm not calling you Supergirl, I'm calling you Skirt. And then you have someone else go, what is this, in 1950s?
And Sarah's like, but then 2 seconds later, they set it up as a cute little joke. 2 seconds later, Supergirl, do something.
Yeah.
And I'm so here for the bro TP of Sarah Lance and Mick.
They're great.
Is she hot? She's hot. And the skirt, call me, that's in Legends. But
yeah, so creepy. But so great.
Or when, how'd you get your name?
See, and didn't you not like Heatwave before?
I didn't. So I kind of am starting to like him this season. His little one-liners, he's kind of over the top, and so is Snart. But now that I'm into the show a little bit more, I'm starting to understand that that's what they're supposed to be.
I wanted to talk to you off camera about the whole Snart and because that's like we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But
we might have a few minutes left because Arrow and Legends, we've talked about a good bit of it on there.
Yeah.
But pretty much that's all that happened on The Flash is the mind control, they find out they have to beat it up, and then everybody hates Barry, and then they love him again, they trust him again, except for Cisco.
Best moment may have been where Oliver sees heat vision for like, not the first time, but it's like, what is that? I just love his reaction to that.
Oh no, the whole... again, Tumblr, I told you about this, when they can slow things down and just focus more on it, and it's when Supergirl's talking about the Dominators coming to Krypton and my planet, and they show Oliver like... Stephen Amell did a really good job of... He said he tried to play it as he was just in awe of Supergirl, but still wanted to, like, be, you know, in awe of her, but...
Not really,
like, not show it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then... I don't know, a couple of cute things that we don't really have to touch on, but it had a good one-liners, had a couple of good, you know, chuckle moments, some facepalm moments, but it was
like
definitely...
Wally.
Oh gosh, see, I forget about him, because Kid Flash.
This is my complaint.
Last thing.
Is, one, he's an idiot. I mean, I understand because I'd be exactly the same way. I'd be like, I want to use my powers, I want to be a superhero. But at the same time, I feel like I would understand that we were fighting aliens. An indestructible alien, by the way, who shoots fire from her eyes. And it's like, what am I going to do against that? Because they did this in this week's episode too, is that he's like, oh, I'm going to go help. And he doesn't do anything. He doesn't even hit anyone. He just gets knocked out. And then they praise him like, oh, you saved my life. And it's like, no, you didn't. But my problem is the whole HR thing is like, he's like, teach me. And he's like, first time he's like, nah, which was funny, which was awesome. But then he's like, I'm going to teach you. And you don't know this about this Wells. But they said they were going to miss the other Wells. So they're like, let's go find another one. Which is stupid. Because they've been dicked over by how many other...
But you know what? Let's just stick with the CW trope of kill them off. We'll go get another one.
Yeah. But what is he going to teach you? Like, seriously, how is he going to teach you anything about...
Teach you how to fight?
Yeah.
Kara goes to Lena Luthor to see if she knows about Cadmus, her mother being Cadmus. And they have a pretty cool parallel to when Supergirl goes to see Lena. Like, Kara's being her sweet reporter self, Lena's giving her hard eyes because Katie McGrath has chemistry with frickin' Wall.
Yeah.
So you just ship her with everybody.
Yeah.
But he's in the right mindset. Like he's in his eyes, you know, he's protecting his planet.
Anyway, so far you've seen that with like every show. It seems like every CW show except for Flash.
Oh yeah, you find out
his parents are okay.
Well, so. Now they're okay. So he went back and saved his mom.
Well, not anymore, but
oh,
now they're both dead.
Good. And then the conclusion of the White Martian storyline, turning John Jones into a White Martian. Didn't like the storyline at all, but it could have been so much more than what it was. And they literally have a couple episodes where he's transforming and you see how much he hates it and how much he doesn't want to be it. And then Eliza's like, oh, and then because of the Medusa virus, I was able to fix it, and boom, he's fixed.
This sums up the thing that I dread the most about watching superhero, like comic book adaptation shows, is one, the Cyborg Superman White Martian thing. Is they just take really cool storylines from the comic books, really iconic storylines, and then they dick it up like really bad, just because they either don't have an understanding of it or they don't have the right characters for it. Because to have Cyborg Superman, you have to have Superman. There's a whole storyline that goes in there. They were friends. I believe they were friends, and then he failed to save him and his family and his crew because he was an astronaut. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. It just doesn't. It's just not just.
Well, there's different storylines. One of them is when Superman dies, Cyborg Superman he comes out then.
Yeah, he dies, Hank Henshaw dies, and then like years later or something, he shows up as Cyborg Superman. I was hearing that it would have been really cool if they made Jeremiah, the dad, Cyborg Superman, because they were actually friends, and there's a setup with that.
Would have been really cool, and then it would have been incredibly heartbreaking because he would have been evil, and then we would have got to see Kyler Lee give us more amazing performances and just break my heart. Like, on one hand, let's let Alex be happy, but on the other hand, make Kyler cry. Just give her all the storylines. Just let her rip my heart out every week. It's fine.
Just to be fair, they don't always screw it up. Some of them work really well, but I don't know.
What I do like about the White Martian storyline that they have going on with Magan and everything, and even with just the aliens in general, is how it correlates to the real issues that we're going through, like race issues and immigrants and stuff, and how they're seen. And Magan is right now, I really hope they run with that, about how when she was fighting Jean as the White Martian, she turns back into the human version, and she tells Jean, when he's screaming at her to turn back to who you really are, she says, this is who I want to be. Like, I love that storyline. Like, she's trying to be better, and but she has to conform to what other people think, and he's basing her just on her race. And Kara's mad at the Daxamite at first, just because he's from Daxam.
But there's legit reason for White Martians being hated, though. That makes total sense when you hear about all the stuff that they did to the Green Martians.
Right, but she's proven that she's good.
Yeah.
And that she's different, and he still flat out hates her because she's a White Martian.
I understand that more than the Kryptonians hating Daxamites.
Half-Wolves and McCoys.
And they just made it seem like they were just a bunch of mischiefs. Like they weren't like nuking Krypton or something.
Right.
Like
that's true.
White Martians wiped out an entire race.
Yeah. And they did talk about that. So last thing on Supergirl real quick before we jump into the rest is Sandvers. Maggie Sawyer and Alex Danvers. This storyline has been so phenomenal. It is so amazing, and it is the year that we've had. It is so needed, and Kyler Lee is playing it amazingly and just breaking my heart. And I thought that they were going to be a slow burn, and I signed up for that, and I was like, let's do this. And then of course they go into the fan fiction trope that we all saw coming. One of them gets hurt, Maggie gets shot. And then comes in and we get the resolution, Sandverse is a thing. And the actresses are so behind it, it's adorable. They are amazing.
Great.
So that's pretty much all you got on Supergirl. Then you get the last scene that we saw in Flash, that Barry and Cisco show up, and we get Kara and Barry, who are adorable together, and she leaves. And I hope that they wrap this up on Supergirl a little bit, because I don't know how the timeline works, because time travel and all that bullshit, but Kara being gone, especially after an episode where everybody was like, oh, she's fine, she'll check in later, and she was kidnapped. If they just skirt over that with nothing, it's going to kind of make me mad, plot-wise. Like, did she tell Alex? Did she leave a note? Is Alex looking for her? Are they mad? Like, I just want them to address it of some kind when we come back.
Yeah, maybe no time at all passed.
That's what somebody said also, is that maybe they take her back to right where she was. And as long as that's fine, if they address it that way, done. Yeah. Just don't skate right over it.
It's a nice segue into the Flash. I don't want to start out with negatives, but that's one thing I do not like, is that this whole thing where they can just jump between Earths like it's nothing. It's really bothersome. It's really annoying.
You had to expect it as soon as they announced she was going into Supergirl. Yeah. I mean, CW.
Yeah.
Can I jump on that real quick? The device that Cisco gives her?
Yeah.
So I saw on Tumblr, and I apologize, I don't know who I saw it on. I liked it, though. That somebody said, you can just see Kara opening up the portal and be like, guys! And then Cisco and Barry, what is it? Who are we fighting? And she's like, look at this video I saw!
See, I don't want that.
I don't want it either, but that would be so Kara. Because she's just this big, adorable puppy. Anyways.
That was one thing I did. Anyways, yeah, so the Flash part of the crossover, well, I guess the first part of the crossover. So how did it start? It started out with, did it start out in the 50s? Showing what was happening, or was it modern day? I missed that because you were texting me and I was watching on my phone.
Well, you gotta tell me. I don't remember.
Well, let's just say it started in, I think it was modern day.
Because it starts with, God, what is her name? She's married to Diggle.
Lila,
love her, and I couldn't remember her name. So it starts out with Lila there, and find all that stuff.
Oh yeah, and so she's talking to Barry's team and everything. Okay, so...
yeah, because she says you can't fight them alone. I don't plan to.
So I think this was. So I think we can agree this was probably the weakest. You think it was the weakest part of the crossover?
Of the 3-episode crossover, yes.
I'm thinking about. I think it was partly because of like how they were just trying to put everything together just really quickly. But so I guess I like the last part of the episode more than the first part.
Well, I liked the introductions, and I could have done a whole episode of them just hanging out with each other in the hangar.
Yeah.
Okay, negatives about the introduction. We talked about it. I get that they can't have every character on the crossover, but the Wave Rider is literally right outside. And you're going to tell me that what is his name? Steel? Mr. Steel?
Nate.
Whatever. Nate, who is impenetrable when he's a steel guy, and Vixen are back there. Oh, Nate and Amaya are still on the Wave Rider, rookies.
That's what Sarah Lance says. What are they doing?
The whole time, they're not going to fight at all. They're just going to hang out on the ship that's right outside. But I did really like the introduction. I thought you were bringing an alien. Oh, I did. Right here. What makes her so super? And then she gets to fly.
Yeah, and Diggle, they have the running gag of whenever Diggle is just like, I guess, not quite terrified of Barry, but every time he picks him up, he always throws up.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
And then how he's like, I'm convinced with Supergirl. Yeah. And then the fight scene when she's just smiling as they're all trying to beat her up.
Yeah, that's... I wish they'd shown more of that. That would have been a lot of fun to see. I wanted to see Firestorm do more. They kind of put him in the backseat.
Yeah, because he's having mental issues.
Is
that what they're saying?
Because like his memories are
being implanted.
Yeah.
Now that we know that now.
Yeah. But it would have been a really good chance to set up the ending, the last episode, where he transmutes the entire bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Because not a lot of people know this, but a running theory that Batman has is that Firestorm is the most powerful being in the entire universe.
Yeah, that to me was out of nowhere that they're like, here, save it!
Yeah, because they've only shown it twice. You can actually, he transmuted a nuke at the end of the first season.
Oh, I must have missed an episode.
And then he did some bullets at the beginning of this season. and that's about it. Which is kind of annoying because he's not the Human Torch. He doesn't just shoot fire from his hands. His main power is transmuting things.
Interesting. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I thought that would have been a great chance to, show him like a little bit of foreshadowing, just like how powerful he is, because he can actually match Supergirl. But whatever, we didn't get it. What did you think about the payoff of the recording of the future Barry?
Yeah, that was so. I felt like it was very. What is the word I'm looking for? A letdown.
Yeah.
Like a disappointment, maybe? I don't know. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. Oh my gosh. I don't know what word I'm thinking of right now. But yeah, it's like this huge thing on Legends that, what is this thing? And then they tell us, and it just has to do with the Flashpoint.
Yeah, don't trust present Barry.
So, but there's got to be something more, though, because that's 50 years in the future from even now that Barry sends that. So why? So there's got to be something more to it, and this is why I hate time travel.
They hinted at it.
It hurts my brain.
Kind of hinted at it this episode this week. That future Barry is fighting the Speed God, and that's why his name is Savitar. He's the main villain for the Flash this season, and that's why he's attacking Barry now. Is because he has a beef with future Barry 40 years from now or whatever.
Interesting.
But it didn't really pay off because he says in the message, "Don't trust me," but it's like they don't really give a reason why. But yeah, I guess maybe they can still do more with it. But
another thing I saw on Tumblr was just these two pictures of Barry and his facial expressions being like, and it says, when you realize this whole alien crossover thing was just a giant intervention.
Which I did. I've been waiting for this for so long. Because the one problem I have with Barry, besides the fact that he's an idiot and keeps trying to save his mom, and so we have to see that scene like 10 times. I think we're at 6 times where we've seen his mom die. And just, first time it made me cry, second time it made me cry. And I was just like, whatever, just die already. Which is sad, because she's amazing. But that's what I did like about this episode is, okay, so what I don't like about Barry is that, and that everyone loves Barry, and it's like he can do no wrong. So I really like that this episode they finally just all piled on and told him, you are a selfish douche.
Except Oliver.
Yeah, and we can talk about that on the Arrow episode, because he said I would have gone back too, and I was like, I didn't quite believe that he would do that. But some people were complaining that about Diggle being mad, like he had no reason to be mad. But I think it's totally valid.
Yeah, of course you're gonna be mad. He only has one kid right now, and yes, he loves his son because he doesn't know any different. But he's finding out that he had a daughter, he's like,
that's the equivalent of losing a child, I think.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like giving up your child for adoption or something, and later on you find out that they passed away or something like that. So Arrow.
So freaking good.
Yeah.
All the feels. Did you expect the feels?
I didn't. I forgot this was the 100th episode.
Very well done, 100th episode.
Yeah. It felt like season 1 again.
Yeah. All the feels. And it was interesting that that Felicity was in the simulation, but she wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? It was Sarah, Ray, Thea, shut up. Sarah, Ray, Thea, Oliver, is that it? Just the 4 of them? And Diggle.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting that, she was still, like, to see her in the simulation and see, who was she with?
Diggle?
No, wasn't she dating somebody? Ray, no.
No, Ray was, she was engaged to, was she engaged to Ray?
Oh, no, we're mixing our seasons again.
I think she was engaged to Ray, wasn't she?
Possibly. I think so.
Yeah.
Because they had them still together. But yeah, Diggle was the Green Arrow. Made no fetching sense. I think that's them looking into his brain and seeing him like envious. Yeah. And so they made him the Green Arrow in the simulation.
It was also a callback to when he posed as a Green Arrow.
That's right.
But he needs to calm it down with the voice. Because he went full on Zoom where he's like, I am the Green Arrow. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, just dial it back a couple notches.
Dinah Laurel Lance. Your girl.
Yes.
And Oliver together.
So this is what I was telling her, was that this was, and I talked about it with a few people online, was and we all kind of agreed that this felt like a rebirth episode, and that's what's going on in the DC universe right now in the comic books is what they're calling rebirth. Just quickly, back in 2011, they decided they wanted to reboot everything, new costumes, tweak the origin stories, but they also made it so that Superman wasn't married, he wasn't with Lois, Green Arrow and Black Canary weren't together anymore, Arthur, Aquaman and his wife weren't together anymore. But then Rebirth, they found it's basically the storyline is they find out that someone was tweaking with time, so it's not a reboot, but it's just it works so well.
I know, but I hate that.
It works really well. Like just thinking about it gets me emotional because it was just because they brought back the original Kid Flash, the ginger Kid Flash. They had an awesome moment with him and with the Flash, but basically it's just Rebirth is them bringing back things that how it was supposed to be. How they're making everything lighter. So Superman and Lois are back together. Green Arrow and Black Canary are back together, and that's what this episode felt like. Was that they were trying to put things back to the way they were, and hopefully I took it as kind of a cue that later on in the season, because they said they're going back to their roots with Arrow. I'm hoping that what they were doing was kind of hinting that these characters are coming back, like Slade and Dinah, Laurel, I guess.
We'll go with.
Yeah, we'll go there. But yeah, I really like this episode. It was
so many feels. The parents, both parents together. Yes. That was awesome.
And how good is that casting? Robert Queen. He looks
really,
just
really,
like Stephen Amell.
They really did a really good job. And then Thea Happy was awesome. Because I really do like Thea's character. I know they've screwed it up a little bit and my brain still hurts about her age and these different things. Yeah. But I like her and I hope that she comes back to the actual crime fighting part of it. But I thought it was really awesome that Oliver was like, no, we've got to go back. And Thea said, no, I know. No, we're cool. I know it's fake, but I want to stay here.
Yeah.
I really liked that aspect. Yeah. I mean, our negative was like 2 seconds later, she shows up changed. It's like, no, never mind, I'm on your side. Just kidding, guys. But aside from that, the way it ended, I thought that was great that they were at odds there. And that Oliver let her stay. Because we said that maybe he knew that they were going to break the spell, the disillusion, and Thea was going to come back anyway.
Yeah, just give her a little bit more time to...
And not make her choose. Like, she gets to, she can be mad at him if she wants, but she doesn't have to make that choice. Awesome that Sarah got to kill Damien Dark.
Yeah, because that was going to be in my negatives, because I stopped watching Arrow, 4th season, I don't know, it was like 5 episodes away from the end. So I didn't see where Dark was killed. Or, I mean, where Laurel was killed. Yeah, because I was just so fed up with Arrow. So I was like, that was the stupid, I thought it was just really stupid how she shot the arrow and she grabbed it and then stabbed him. I was like, why don't you just shoot him? But then I found out that that's how.
Yeah, that's how Laurel died. So, and she's been trying to kill him, so it was just very nice to see her get to kill. And then we talked about how she was able to kill Slade like that. Yeah, but it's...
Please.
Exactly. No. Not when as hard as it was for Oliver to defeat him in the first place. I love Sarah Lance, but then again, it's the simulation of it and such, so it's them breaking out of it. But Ray was the dumbest part. They don't really show him at all, and then they walk up to him. Have you been having memory issues? Yeah, you're right. This is totally fake. He's like, now that you mention that, I did see some stuff.
Because time constraints.
Time constraints, yeah, that was definitely... but no, overall, this one I thought was the strongest episode. Well, I guess...
I put them together.
The Legends was the strongest for the crossover. Because it tied everything up. But this one felt like just a normal episode of Arrow until you brought in the other aspects of it.
Yeah.
But no, it was really good. And then when he's leaving, normally I would say it's really cheesy that he turns around and just sees the fake ghost.
The holograms, the Force ghosts.
But it was so good. Ghosts. It hit me hard. And I really wish Colton Haynes.
Yeah.
I wish his schedule would have worked out because I read that they wanted Thea and Roy to be together in this simulation. So I really wish that would have worked out.
Well, obviously he's supposed to be coming back.
He is supposed to be coming back, hopefully next season, I guess. Or maybe the second half of this season we'll get surprised. Because we sure just got another surprise this week that we'll talk about in the next installment. But anything else that was big on Arrow?
Captain Lance. Him being a normal, balanced human being.
That's right. Seeing him happy.
Yeah,
Sarah happy without the assassins.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And her and little thing between her and Ray. Their whole, you remember that? You don't remember that? What were they talking about? Because Laurel's like, she told Laurel, I'm only into girls.
No, she said I prefer
girls. And then she talks, I can't remember what they were talking about with Ray, but then he walks away and she's like, are you sure?
Right. He's like, yeah, he's cute.
I like that little moment.
Yeah.
The fight was awesome. The fight scenes were great. Malcolm was there.
Oh, that's right. What? Did Malcolm die? And I don't remember.
Didn't Thea kill him?
Okay, that's what it was. I couldn't fully remember. But yeah, we gotta wrap it up a little bit. But fitting into the crossover episode, it made sense. They explained it really well. Because I was like, why are they taking them into, why don't they just kill them? But they're studying them, and it made sense that these guys fight like metahumans, but they're not. So it did make sense that they were putting them into a stasis and studying them and this sort of thing.
Also, we didn't even touch about the Supergirl, Flash, and the rest of the team.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about them.
I do.
Because I forget about them all the time.
I have a theory about why Wild Dog doesn't like metahumans, based off of what we saw in this episode this week. But I don't hate Wild Dog. I think he's the strongest of the sidekicks.
Oh, he definitely is. And it's funny.
We'll get into that with the Arrow episode.
I will say this though, like I get it's not her show, and maybe it's my bias because I'm a Supergirl fan, but it just felt very forced when they had Supergirl on this episode. Like in the middle of a fight, she does her superhero landing, and Barry stops, turns and looks at her, then goes back to the fight. Then it was just really weird. I actually rewound that 2 or 3 times to make sure I wasn't missing something. It's like, what just happened? Like,
budget
why?
Constraints.
Huh?
Budget.
Right, but it was, I just felt, and then when Oliver's like, no, you can't go in Legends.
And that's, another manufactured reason. I guess let's go into Legends.
Go into Legends, yeah. Can I just jump right into Oliver getting thrown off the building?
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. I was like, whoa, there he
goes! You knew it was coming. I mean, just based off of the conversation he had with Supergirl. So we need to emasculate him a little bit. So there you go.
Well, it just made no sense that he was all about it in the Flash episode. Then he has no interaction with her in the Arrow episode, and all of a sudden now he says, "I can't trust you." It made no sense.
I think I know what they're trying to go for, but they should have set it up in the first crossover episode.
Right.
But they've said he's basically the Batman of this universe, and that's a very Batman thing to do.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't trust anyone, so if you are fighting with him for the first time, he's the guy that comes up to you, he's like, okay, yeah, we'll fight with you, and then he'll pull you aside and go, if you do anything that makes me suspicious, I will put you in a hole, and no one will find you, and you will never get out of that hole. And then, just walks away. And that's kind of what I guess that they were doing with Oliver, was like, I don't trust you or whatever, I'm being Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah. But it was just another one of those manufactured reasons to have a conflict.
So we are running short on time, so my positives on the Legends episode were, I liked the storyline finally coming to a close with why, what is his name? Stein, thank you. Gosh, I'm awful. I really do watch the shows, guys. Stein is having his headaches and his flashes, which I kind of figured. I was like, it's got to be he's remembering something that wasn't there before. And I liked the daughter, so we'll see.
I could take her early bird, but okay. So I have a really weird thought. I don't want to know what you think, but when you first opened the door, and when you was having visions of her, and then you first met her, I had a thought that was like, mistress.
No, I didn't think that. Okay. When he was having the flashes, because I think he said I think I loved her also at one point.
Because they were kind of romantic-looking flashbacks.
I think they were trying to throw off the fan base and make it think that he had a different life. Because he interacted with oh my gosh, time travel.
His young self.
His younger self was neglecting her, and he didn't do that in the first time. Oh my gosh, makes my head hurt. So they did kind of lead it towards maybe they weren't together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were trying to hint at. So it's okay that you thought that.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, wife? I was like, she's young.
Yeah, so that was my thought process. It was wife? No. Mistress? Oh no, daughter. Okay. I don't know. Oh, but Jax's whole little is so to fix it you went down.
Yeah, that's right. He said that, and I think,
so out of the
I think
blue.
I went.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm not like I don't get offended or anything,
like,
but it's a CW show, so I was just like, Pound Town. You really just said that?
That's normal language for Lucifer, the show Lucifer. That's normal for them to say that. But it was like when he said
different network.
Yeah, when they said it on here, I was like, can they say that?
Right. I think they said douchebag too. Doesn't Felicity say douche or douchebag?
I don't know.
I think so. Well, you don't like Felicity.
I
so
tune out a lot of what she says.
Shut up. But no, it came to a good conclusion. Like, it wasn't a horribly easy fix, but it made sense. I hated the time travel aspect. We talked about this. I would rather have them go back and take one to study and then find out that's how to defeat them than the fact that they went back and saved him and everything caused... I hate time travel, which is weird that I like the damn show Legends. It's fine. But they don't do a lot of that stuff. Like, they try not to have it affect the future and the past. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I was a little bit more fine with it, but it was still... I didn't like it because there's just a whole manufactured reason for Felicity and Cisco to...
talk about Barry.
Yeah, and
for him to figure out, oh, he changed the timeline.
Yeah, is really just... Well, I didn't like that conclude. I didn't like that. That's how they fixed Cisco's problem with Barry. It
was also how they put Amaya and Nate into the plot line.
Plot hole. So they get Trent, Mara and Steele, and he says, he's like, why don't we just use our powers? And he's like, the dart or whatever is affecting our powers. Her powers don't come from her. They come from the amulet, which she was still wearing. We saw it in like episode 3 or something, where she got caught. They took out the amulet and she was powerless. But she still knows how to fight. So it's really bad continuity, I guess, on the part of the writers.
I like Cisco and Felicity getting to save the day with their guns.
Also, he doesn't need a gun, because he's got the vibe powers.
Oh, yeah, good point. Maybe he didn't want to use his vibe powers in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Which is, that's another huge plot hole, that they're always flying around. Firestorm's just flying around in the 1800s.
I get more why they can do that, because they have that pill. They can make people forget, but it's not, it's like, not like they're running around giving everyone a pill.
That's true.
But, yeah. I didn't like that they brought two people that know nothing about time travel. And you know that they're going to screw something up.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
But this episode did have my favorite part, which was the
Oliver getting thrown off the building?
Yeah, of course. No.
Firestorm.
It was Firestorm. How awesome is that?
Oh yeah, that was...
It was just well shot, it was well acted, and it was just a nice conclusion. I
did like that. I liked, again, I like Mick, and I love his skirt, call me. and I like that they set up a reason for future crossovers, because we know we're going to have constant crossovers. And yes, it's an easy fix, like how they can just vibe back and forth between the Earths, and now he gave her this device that can do the same thing. But I still like the aspect of it, because we know the musical episode's coming up that I'm excited for. I don't care if you're excited for it or not. I'm excited for it. Give me more Kyler Lee singing. In case you haven't figured out, I kind of love Kyler Lee a little bit. Can Katie McGrath sing?
Probably.
She can do everything
She's
else.
Perfect. She's amazing.
She's
perfect.
Pretty amazing. Her accent slips up a lot.
Yeah, it does. Did you notice the Civil War? I guess it wasn't quite an homage to Civil War, but when they fight the aliens on the rooftop, it shows one side, and it shows the other side, and then they run at each other, and the camera goes in.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing they did with Civil War, but that's just like a classic flash page for a comic book.
Overall, I think they did a really good job with the reasoning for the aliens to be there, the fact that they'd been there before.
Yeah. And
tying it into all 4 episodes. I think it made sense that they needed Supergirl there. It made sense that Central City and Star City need to get together. And even if they didn't use the time travel aspect of going back to the 50s, it still made sense to call in your big guns of the Black Canary, or the White Canary, excuse me, and all the firepower you can use. Thea jumping in. Yeah. So I think that they did a really good job for it. Wasn't just completely pointless. Like it could be. Like the musical episode probably will be. Yeah. But I'll still love it. It's fine.
Yeah, I just really liked it. It's because not only was it just a good crossover, it's also based off of one of the very first comic books I ever read when I was a kid. That's one of the issues that my brother had, was when the Dominators come in and try and blow up the Metademons or steal them, and Earth says "F you."
The Superman cousin comment that you didn't get it first.
It took me so long. It took me so long.
I was so happy that first off, I was still giggling when Felicity goes, "It's like looking into a mirror," because on Tumblr when you see it. Like, there's so many pictures where I have to kind of double take to make sure it's Felicity and not Kara. But when I kind of wanted him to look at the camera after he said it. And what we're talking about is when Brandon Routh.
Yeah, Routh.
Who played Superman in Superman Returns. Is it just the one?
Yeah.
And Felicity says, "It's like looking into a mirror." He goes, "You know, she kind of reminds me of my cousin." I was like, I get that reference. I was like, Captain America.
I was like sitting there, I was like, do we know his cousin?
Right.
Who's his cousin? Oh! Okay. Good one.
So, no, I was happy. I watched the Flash episode, and even though it wasn't my favorite, I wasn't back here thinking, I just wasted my time, which I have felt before watching Flash and Arrow.
I feel that sometimes too.
But no, I really liked it, and I don't want it to happen every season.
No.
But I wouldn't mind it every now and then. Well, once again, as the running theme with us, our camera died. So, like we said, we'll be coming in, starting back up in the spring, or the winter, whatever, but it's called the spring half of the season. When it all comes back on, we'll be doing a recap of, really?
Yeah.
Of, what did we call it? Legends of Super Flarrow. So, again, I'm Shannon.
I'm Jadon.
And we'll be arguing a lot, especially in this next episode. Thanks.